The Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 5. Now, this scene is a comic relief. Alright, in the previous scene, we saw how Portia is going to Venice in disguise of a lawyer. And Antonio is quite in danger. Bassanio is already gone there to save him. Of course, he can't do much, but Portia goes after Bassanio. And the entire scenario was quite tensed. From there, we come now to scene 5, and remember, Lorenzo and Jessica are left in Portia's house in Belmont. Portia has asked them to take care of her house and stay there as master and mistress until she returns. Of course, she hasn't told him where she's going. She's just said that she is going with Nerissa to live in a monastery and spend her time in prayer and contemplation. This scene comes as a comic relief. I hope, children, you remember Lancelot Gobbo the Fool, who was first the servant of Shylock and later on becomes the servant of Bassanio. This same Lancelot is here again. And I hope you also remember Lancelot's malapropism. That is when he uses a certain word, but he means to say something else. For instance, he says he says defect, but he wants to mean effect, something like that. Okay, of course, that is not by Lancelot, that's by Gobbo, but I just gave you an example that was said by his father. Fine. Now here we start. This is scene 5. Takes place in Belmont in a garden. Enter Lancelot and Jessica. Lancelot says, "Yes, truly, for look you, the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. Therefore, I promise you, I fear you. I was always plain with you, and so now I speak my agitation of the matter. Therefore, be of good cheer, for truly I think you are damned." So what is Lancelot saying? Lancelot says, the sins of the father are transferred to the children. That means if a father is a sinful man, his sins affect his children and they too are punished by it. Who is the sinful father here? Of course, Shylock. And Lancelot says that he is afraid that Jessica might have inherited the sins of Shylock. Then he says, "I'm afraid. I was very plain with you. I was always frank with you." The word plain means frank. All right. And now, and so now I speak my agitation. Though he says agitation, what he means is cogitation, meaning my considered opinion. So here, first of all, the humor comes out, yes? And then he says, "I think you are damned." Once again, I think that you are full of sin. You are cursed. And then Jessica says, "I shall be saved by my husband. He hath made me a Christian." Of course, this might sound racist to the modern generation, but this is the way people thought in Shakespeare's time. So Jessica was ashamed, remember, to be her father's daughter, to be a Jewish woman, and now she says that I'll be saved by my husband Lorenzo, who's made me a Christian. This is what Lancelot says then. He says, "Truly, the more to blame he," that is Lorenzo, "truly, the more to blame we were Christians enow before, even as many as could well live by one another. This making of Christians will raise the price of hogs. If we grow to be, or if we grow all to be pork eaters, we shall not shortly have a rasher on the coals for money." Quite ridiculous. This is what he says. He says, your husband is more to be blamed, because by converting you to Christianity, what he did was that he raised the price of pork. How so? Earlier you were a Jew and Jews don't eat pork. You already know that, yes? And now that you've been converted to a Christian, now you'll be eating pork. And then what will happen? The price of pork will grow up. Of course, grow. Of course, this is a joke. Now, this is what Jessica says. Jessica says, "I'll tell my husband Lancelot what you say." Here he comes. And then enter Lorenzo. So Jessica tells that, let my husband come. I'll tell him what you are saying about him. After that, Lorenzo enters, and then Lorenzo says, I shall grow jealous of you shortly, Launcelot, if you thus get my wife into corners. Another joke. You know, if you take my wife to corners, I will start thinking that you are having an affair with my wife. Jessica says, nay, you need not fear us, Lorenzo. Launcelot and I are out. So Jessica tells Lorenzo, don't be afraid, Lorenzo. Launcelot and I are out. Means Launcelot and I just had a fight. She goes on telling, he tells me flatly there is no mercy for me in heaven because I am a Jew's daughter. And he says, you are no good member of the Commonwealth, for in converting Jews to Christians, you raise the price of pork. That's quite easy. Jessica tells there's no mercy for her in heaven because she is Shylock's daughter. And she also reminds Lorenzo that Launcelot is accusing him of raising the price of pork. Now, Lorenzo speaks to Launcelot and says, go in, Sirrah, bid them prepare for dinner. Sirrah is a term used for boys who are junior to you. So go in, Sirrah, bid them prepare dinner. Bid whom? Bid the servants make dinner. Tell the servants to prepare dinner. Now, Launcelot will now play puns with certain words. If you remember what a pun is a word having two different meanings or many different meanings. A pun is a play on words. Okay. Now, Launcelot says, that is done, sir. They all have stomachs. Now, bid them prepare for dinner means tell them to have dinner ready. Another meaning of bid them prepare for dinner can mean that get ready for dinner. And when are you ready for dinner? When mommy calls you for dinner, naturally you have to be hungry, otherwise you cannot eat. So this is what Launcelot says. He says, they are all hungry, sir. Then Lorenzo says, goodly lord, what a wit snapper are you? Then bid them prepare dinner. Go and tell them to make dinner. What a wit snapper you are. You really like to play with words. Launcelot says, that is done too, sir. Only cover is the word. Now the word cover means to lay the table. Of course, remember, the word cover has many meanings, and Launcelot will not give up the chance of playing a pun on the word cover. And Lorenzo says, will you cover then, sir? Will you lay the table, sir? Then Launcelot says, not so, sir, neither. I know my duty. Remember, another meaning of cover is to wear a hat. And those days you did not wear a hat in front of your superior, in front of your senior. So that is what Lorenzo says. Launcelot says. He says, I will not wear a hat near you, sir. I know my duty. Not so, sir, neither. I'll not wear a hat near you, sir. I know my duty. Now show the whole, Then Lorenzo says, yet more quarrelling with occasion? Wilt thou show the whole wealth of thy wit in an instant? I pray thee, understand a plain man in his plain meaning. Go to thy fellows, bid them cover for dinner, serve in the meat, and we will come in to dinner. This is what Lorenzo says. Lorenzo says, are you going to play with the words so much? Please try to understand a simple man in his simple words. Go inside, tell your fellows, that means tell the other servants, to lay the table, to put a tablecloth, and then to bring the meat, to serve the meat. Meat means food. They were non-veg people, remember that. And then Jessica and myself will come to dinner. This is what Launcelot says. For the table, sir, it shall be served. See, he jumbles up everything. Lorenzo had said, cover the table. But he says, for the table, sir, it shall be served. Lorenzo had said, serve in the meat. And Launcelot says, for the meat, sir, it shall be covered. Yes, when your mummy brings some food and keeps it on the dining table, we don't keep it open. We put a cover. Yes, the meat will be covered. And for your coming into dinner, sir, why, let it be as humours and conceits shall govern. You can come in whenever you please. And after that, Launcelot goes out. And the video ends here. For convenience, I'm dividing the scene into two parts. The first part is the wit snapping of Lorenzo. Thank you.